mean, I guess I was wrong. so, I mean, I literally I did the one yesterday, and I was so adamant and convinced that Salah was not going to be involved in the Liverpool squad today. I never, ever, ever thought that there was going to be some sort of peaceful resolution, some sort of middle ground met where Mo was actually going to be in the team today. And I was wrong. And you know what? I'm happy to be wrong. Welcome back to Anfield Index. If you haven't done it already, make sure to click like and subscribe. But yes, Mohamed Salah is back in the Liverpool squad for today's match against Brighton. A very, very important match. 9th place versus 8th place. We have a chance to overtake Brighton. And apparently, common ground, middle ground, whatever you want to call it, has been met between Mohamed Salah and Arne Slot after Salah's comment a few weeks ago where he was talking about a breakdown in relationship, how there was no relationship, how things just weren't the same. He was players were getting thrown under the bus. The club were trying to throw Salah under the bus, whatever, etc., etc. Excuse me. Now it seems as though there is actually something has been reached because according to Paul Joyce, according to Fabrizio Romano, pretty much everyone, Mohamed Salah is back in the Liverpool squad to face Brighton, which, as great as news as it sounds, it's still a sort of multi-layered thing. Now, do we think that the relationship between Slot and Salah is just magically repaired? Everything's back to the way it was? No, I highly, highly doubt it. There's going to be more to this. There's going to be a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know, a lot more of the situation going on. Do I think that this is Salah returning properly, being told a new role? You're not going to start every match, and you're just going to have to find a way to be happy with that? Absolutely not. I don't think it is at all. The way that I'm viewing this, if I'm being completely honest, is I think this is Liverpool just giving Salah his opportunity to say his goodbye at Anfield. He'll probably get 45 minutes on the pitch, his opportunity to say goodbye, his farewell that he truly deserves, and potentially move on in January. As much as the club have came out and supposedly said that they do not want to sell Salah, they have no intention of selling Mohamed Salah, something about this just seems a bit... the fact that it's been able to be repaired so quickly. You go through instances in the past where players and managers have fell out. Even at Liverpool, the Suarez-Rodgers conundrum echoed on for weeks. And it took Suarez having to play with the reserve team, having to be out for a few weeks, having to have internal discussions for weeks and weeks and weeks for any sort of peaceful resolution to have been met. Now, all of a sudden, one chat and Salah's back in the squad. Is it because he's so important to the team that Slot feels as though he has to have Mo Salah there? Possibly. But for me, there's something about this which just screams of, this is probably the end of Mohamed Salah still. And that it's a very pessimistic outlook to have. It's a very negative outlook to have on the whole matter. But I just can't see how you can repair something from what's been done. I don't see how you can repair this whole relationship from where it was literally a week ago. A week ago today. Not even a week ago today. Like, it was later on in the evening when Salah spoke to the mix zone. So it's mental, but it's a positive thing for the moment. Salah is in the squad, and even if it is his farewell, it's going to be great to have that for him, because we've seen so many players who are shimmied out the back door, not actually getting to say a farewell. Jordan Henderson is probably the biggest example in recent years of someone who has not been given that fond send-off. Fabinho as well, you could say, is another one. Like, there's a good number of them. And if this is going to be Salah's final match, and this is going to be his farewell to Anfield, apparently his family is all going to be there, which leans into that narrative as well, then I'm glad that he's getting the opportunity to showcase it in front of everyone. Will everyone be as receptive to him now after the comments? Probably not, but it'd still be a big thing. On the flip side, is he going to stay? Is he going to be here beyond AFCON? Because as I said before, if I can get the article up, for me 1 second. I can never remember which one it is to get back to the thing. Here we go, share screen. There we go. Because as I mentioned before, Liverpool have no intention of selling Mohamed Salah in January. There's no desire amongst the club to be able to do that. Where is it? There we go. Liverpool have no intention of selling Salah in January, which, to be fair, they'd be foolish to do at the moment where the season we're struggling enough as is. You've got to give Salah time to recoup the money, like his value. I think is one reason of doing it. He's going to be going to AFCON. If he left in the immediate aftermath of this whole conundrum, the media debacle, you'd lose a lot more money for him. So selling him in January, losing a key asset in this squad now, midway through the season, and we still have top four to push for. We still have an FA Cup. We still are in the Champions League. As much as Salah hasn't been contributing massively this season beyond the Bournemouth match, the Burnley match, Atletico Madrid, as much as he hasn't contributed really beyond them, he's still an important figure in this team. What he says carries a lot of weight. And I think the fact that he's been included in the squad today, despite what's been done, shows that just how integral he is to this team, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Do I think that means he's going to start today? We'll look at that now, because is it right for Salah to start today? You know what? I just feel sorry for Federico Chiesa. I really, really feel for Federico Chiesa. Salah, at the Inter Milan match, Salah's out the team. Gakpo's injured. Ngamo is the only real winger, and Chiesa gets ill. And then we go into the next match, and Salah's straight back into the team, which no one expected. So I feel for Federico Chiesa so much. And I don't think Salah will start the match. As much as it's, as much as it's a positive thing that he's back in the squad today, I don't see a world in which Salah particularly starts. I think that if it is his farewell, I think he starts, because he'll get substituted off. That'll be his round of applause as he's leaving, and then he'll do the lap of honour. If he starts on the bench and comes on, I'm a lot more positive that that's a sign of him staying and sort of accepting the new role he's in. And according to Lewis Steele, who's been on this channel before a couple of times, believe talks between Mohamed Salah and Arne Slot today were positive. They've shaken hands, and the forward is expected to be in the squad to play for Brighton on Saturday. Conflict not fully resolved, but it's a good step. So, like I said, things are going in the right direction. We'll wait and see about if how things are in the future. There's a couple of comments coming in. Are you still Slot in? Look, I don't think I am. I don't think that Slot is going to progress as much further than he has now. But I think given the situation that's happened with Salah, that's bought him time, because he's handled it well in that time period. We are unbeaten in 3 in the league, 4 in all competitions. I understand it was Leeds and Sunderland, but we've then gone away to Inter Milan, picked up a massive win while there's not been a Mohamed Salah in the team. So I think it's just we need to give him a little bit more time just to see how we are when Salah comes back. Maybe this sort of galvanizes everyone. Who knows? And his system is starting to click now, the new way that he wants us to play. But in the long term, I don't think he is the solution for us necessarily. Liverpool win, Slot still out. Let go. Alonso and Semenyo pending. Semenyo was touched on yesterday in yesterday's stream with Dave and Trevor, so make sure you go check that one out. They talked about Antoine Semenyo, how he'd fit into the squad. Not necessarily thinking he'd be a right wing replacement for Mohamed Salah, but someone out on the left. And then is Isak in the squad? We're not too sure yet. Slot said yesterday he did get a knock. I haven't heard anything to suggest that he is or isn't in the squad at the moment. The only news that I know about in the squad is that Chiesa's back and that Endo has got an ankle knock, which is another thing. And obviously Gakpo is going to be out for weeks, but nothing has been said about Alexander Isak today. I imagine he would travel. I don't think there's a way they're not going to have him travel with the squad, even if Salah's back now. So he probably will be in and around the squad still today. But whether he starts or not, I highly doubt he starts, which may force Slot's hand starting Salah. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, like I said before, touching on Salah with this whole Saudi thing. So Dave covered it yesterday. Saudi are always going to circle Mo Salah. He feels like someone who's sort of custom made for their audience, for their demographic. Obviously, because Salah, being who he is, where he's from, and everything, he attracts a certain demographic of fan base towards the club. And Saudi, he to them, he would feel like their version of Ronaldo or Messi. He would be the star man in the Saudi league. He'd be the big name acquisition. And they're confident of signing him should he want to leave Liverpool. And they believe they cost close to £100 million. A move could happen in the summer, if not in January. Now, there are conflicting reports, as I say. Liverpool, some people are saying Liverpool don't want to sell him in January. Is Salah going to force the move while he's away at AFCON? No, I don't think he's going to. He's going to be focused on that. He's going to then come back. And I think AFCON, does AFCON end just before the January transfer window closes, or is it afterwards? I can never remember with AFCON. But if Salah is to leave, I do feel like now or never would be the time for Saudi, because a lot of big clubs across Europe now, PSG, Bayern, Real Madrid, Barcelona, all the big clubs, it's about work rate, it's about energy, it's about effort. And as much as we love Salah because of what he contributes in terms of goals and assists, he doesn't provide that. He doesn't track back and defend, which is a big, big reason for this whole thing kicking off, because Slot's expecting him to do it and Salah didn't want to. No one is going to go out there and sign him for high money because he doesn't fit their system. He's not going to be the main man at a PSG. He's not going to be the main man at a Bayern Munich or a Barcelona or a Real Madrid or any of these teams. Saudi feels like the best option. It's not a critique of him. It's just he has such a specific play style in the way he operates that no club across Europe is going to want to add him into their front line and base the whole system around him. There's no one out there crying out for that to a big Champions League potential winning standard. Liverpool are the only one, really. Saudi could come in for him, £100 million. For me, I think it will be the summer. I don't think it will be during the January window. I think we'll say to him, look, just give us the rest of this season. You've signed a contract. Give us till the summer, and then you can move on all you want, which is fine. Excuse me, I was in work late. But I don't see it in January. I don't see Liverpool uprooting their attacking front line, changing everything in January to get money, which they're going to get in summer because he's on a 2-year contract. He's not going anywhere just yet. The thing's not going to run down. He's not going to be at risk of moving for free like he was last summer, where when the Saudis were coming in 2023, it was sort of like a now or never kind of situation. We're not in that position. So we have wiggle room here. We've got time to say, look, if you want him, you're going to have to wait until the summer window and pay up big money. And at that point, then we have more time to reinvest in the squad, to build around people, to target players who we want to bring in and actually pick up more data about who would fit into this squad for Liverpool. We could get a Semenyo if we wanted to. For all we know, we could get Mark Gahey, or we could look at a Castello Luqueba, who I'd be all for signing, by the way. There's a lot of time there, so we can work on preparing for when Salah goes. Because losing Mohamed Salah from this Liverpool squad, it's not just a simple fix of bring someone in. You're losing a generational talent from this Liverpool team. The greatest right winger in Premier League history, none of the Ronaldo rubbish that people spout. The greatest right winger in Premier League history. Arguably Liverpool's greatest player of the Premier League era alongside Steven Gerrard. You're talking about one of the greatest of all time for this club. Mount Rushmore, top 5. Some people say top 3, up for debate. It's not as simple as he goes, you bring someone in. You have to recruit correctly to replace him. You have to bring in a decent number of people who can fill the role that he fills. And while he's not been doing that this season, so to speak, and he has been poor, he doesn't contribute to goals and assists at the moment, and his best creative stat is his shot creating actions and his through balls, which we'll get to shortly. He still brings a lot to this team in terms of his, I hate the word aura, I'm not going to use it, but the way he projects himself, the energy that he gives out, just the way he is in and around the club. When he said what he said, it was disappointing because he targeted the club, which you should never do. But he's so important to who we are. He's one of our greatest ever stars. So if you're going to lose Mo Salah, it's not as simple as just bringing in one player to just replace him. They might have a good season, but can they do it over a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year period? Probably not. It's unlikely. So we need to plan correctly. And selling him in January just feels as though we're going to rush out and try and bring someone in as quick as possible. Exactly what happened when we sold Fernando Torres and we rushed and brought in Andy Carroll. We got Suarez as well, which is brilliant, but we went into panic stations and sold and bought in the lump of cement up top who kicked like one. You go back to when we sold Suarez in 2014 and we immediately went into panic stations and brought in all the players we did. We need to plan ahead like we did this summer. We need to do that again if Salah is to leave. And it can't be done during January because our season will completely capitulate and fall apart if he's not there. Not just because he's not contributing at the minute, but depth overall. You need that depth. And Mo, I would rather have a Mo on the bench or in the starting 11 than not in the squad at all. So, but yeah, will he start today against Brighton? Realistically, hey, look, it's me. I'm not 100% confident that he'll start. Like I said, there's been no indication that he will. There's no indication that he won't. Nothing has been put out to suggest either way. Do I think he will start personally? No, I don't think he will. I think he'll come off the bench later on, just as a sort of... It looks a lot better. If he just immediately comes straight back into the starting lineup, I think it looks worse than if he's on the bench. It sort of looks like he did all that, missed one match as punishment, and now he's straight back into the starting 11. And I don't think Slot's going to deviate from what's been working recently. I don't think he's going to take away from what's worked against Inter Milan, what worked ever so slightly at points against Leeds. He's not going to do that. He's going to stick with the same format, the same system, the same philosophy, and then bring Salah on later on, see what the reception is, and go from there. Because he does leave for AFCON, and we are going to be missing Salah while he's gone for this month. It is a big, big thing. Wouldn't sell Salah to buy Semenyo. That's awful, but can we play him more inside? Won't Vert and Ekitike up front. I'm not saying sell Salah to buy Semenyo. Far from that. I think we'll get Semenyo anyway, or we'll be in and around the sort of discussion as a left wing option. But what I mean is, if Salah goes, you need like a Semenyo, a defender. You need a good number of people to come in who are solid to replace what Salah does, just to add that extra layer of depth and different options that we can that we can use. Verts and Ekitike up front. Well, I don't want Verts up front personally, unless he's being used as a number 10. There are people who have said the false 9, and I said false 9 a long time ago for Florian Verts, and I've realised since he can't do it. He's a number 10, out and out, and that's where we need to keep him. That's where he's just got to stay. Which leans into this match today, so the Brighton build-up, because Brighton and Hove Albion, you know, right now in the Premier League, if I can get the table up, Brighton are having a decent season for the standards that we expected them to sort of maybe drop off ever so slightly. They haven't done that at the time of this live chat. Liverpool are in 10th. We are currently on 23 points. Brighton are in 8th on 23 points. So we have a chance to leapfrog a position here in the league. It's really, really important that we win today against them. They've only won 1 in 5 at the time of recording this. They've also scored 25 but conceded 21. Only one team in the top 10. Sorry, 2 teams in the top 10 have conceded more goals. That's Manchester United on 22 and Liverpool on 24. So there's weakness there, and they did just ship, was it 5 goals against Aston Villa? So there is, you know, as good as they are going forward, as talented as they are going forward, there is still weakness at the back. Do you think we can still make top 4 with Slot at the wheel? It's absolutely possible. I'm not fully confident in it, and like I say, it's such a difficult... If you'd have asked me a week ago, I'd have been immediately... After the Sunderland match, I was, just get rid, move on. And I probably am still like that. I probably do still feel that. I think that the Salah debacle has overshadowed Slot's poor season and his poor managerial skills at the moment. I think this has bought him more time, and I'm one of the fools for falling for it. I'm one of the people who has seen everything that's went on and went, oh, poor Slot. And I've sort of pitied them more. So maybe there is something to that. No, I'm not convinced. If we get a win today, if we beat Brighton and we've gone 5 matches unbeaten, if we can keep a clean sheet, 3 clean sheets in 5 matches, like the Sunderland match was a deflection. As much as we were awful in that match, they happen. The Leeds game, 3-3, disgraceful. Again, those results happen. Every season we've had a match where we've conceded like 3 goals. The season we won the league, we conceded 3 goals against Watford and didn't even score. So those results can happen. If we can pick up a win today, make it convincing, maybe keep a clean sheet, I will lean more in the direction of, okay, give him just a little bit more time. He has to keep proving why he's there. He can't just pick up one win and then lose 3 or 4 and then pick up another win. And by all accounts, the club have said, we are sticking with Slot because we are not the way that Manchester United are. We do not just sack them straight away. It's never been who we are. The last time we were in this scenario was Hodgson or Kenny even, but he walked away from the job. So it's a difficult scenario we're in. When Rodgers left or got sacked even, it's because Klopp was there. We were talking to Ancelotti. We were talking to Klopp, and Klopp was there just ready, waiting to come in. We're not in that situation now. I think had the Alonso situation been sped up the other day, after the City loss, if he'd have been sacked, which apparently was all just rumours, maybe things would have been sped up a bit. But right now, I think we just need to gain some stability. We just need to build a defensive structure, and Slot starting to show signs of development and learning in that regard. So I'm all for giving him the opportunity once more to prove that he can do it. If we get beat by Brighton today, if it's a loss, I will be straight back on the, okay, look, everything's gone on. You got Salah back now. There's no excuse. So, yeah. You can't panic buy managers like Manchester United. Thing is, United don't even panic buy managers that much, I don't think. I think it's just every time they go, right, let's see, this system will work this time. Because if you think, like, David Moyes was, like, he was brought in months before Sir Alex Ferguson left. They were in discussions for ages. He was then sacked and Giggs was made the interim manager. So they had 3 matches. I believe they played 3 matches before they then brought in Louis van Gaal. So there was discussions around that for a good few months. He then came in. Van Gaal was premeditatedly sacked at the end of the season, and then they brought in Mourinho. Mourinho gets sacked, and they bring in an interim manager because they plan on bringing in someone long-term, but he does a really good job, so they then keep him. I think from then on, it becomes a bit of a spiral of panic buys, but they always premeditate who they're going to bring in. It's just they bring in such stark contrasted managers, so many different styles, so many different philosophies, that you end up with this hodgepodge of a team of people who play the way Ten Hag wants, the way Mourinho wants, the way Solskjaer wants, the way Amorim wants, and it doesn't work. So as much as it's the managers are being panic bought, which I don't think they are particularly, I think it's just every single manager is told, rebuild under you, rebuild under you. Here's this amount of money. Here's copious amounts of cash. Bring in who you want. And then you end up with this Frankenstein monster of a team of 4 different styles amongst 11 different players who all want to play a different way. And that's why it doesn't work. That's why Anthony Martial was still at the club under Eric Ten Hag, despite being bought by Louis van Gaal. That's how long it's been. Did you not believe, as he tries to build on an entire new squad, that this was a transition season? Because that's exactly what the season is. This season is a transition season, but like you perfectly said here, there was always going to be a fall-off season after Klopp. And the reason people are getting so fed up is because of last season. The way it should have worked is the other way around. We should have had the drop-off season straight after Klopp left, and then we ascended towards the league title. Because Slots came in, didn't change too much, won us the league, and it's since plummeted. That's why people are stressed out, because we've seen what we're capable of. We've seen what he's capable of. We've seen what the squad's capable of. And now we're in a situation where we're 10th in the table going into Christmas. This time last year, we were top of the league. So this is why people are frustrated. It is a transition season in a sense, but it's coming off the back of a league-winning season. A transition season does not come after you've just won the Premier League. That should not happen. In United's case, back in the 2013-14 season, which I refer to all the time because I love that season so much, Sir Alex had left, similar to how Klopp's left us, just not to the same standard, of course. And they had a very aging squad. You had Vidic in his 30s, Ferdinand in his 30s, Rooney in his 30s. You had Ryan Giggs in his 40s at that point, Evra 30s. Big changes were needed in the squad, and they got gutted, and they ended up in the situation they were in. You don't go through a transition period after winning the league. That should be your time to build and develop. And my worry is we've brought in all these players. some of which do not agree with Slot's system, and now we've plummeted. And there's clear signs there that maybe he's just not good enough to elevate them. If you gave Klopp these players, maybe Isak wouldn't. I'm still yet to see how he sort of gels into this whole system, whether he plays in front two or, you know. I think Alden would thrive under him. I think Kirk has to do great. Frimpong would do great. Wirtz would do amazing under Klopp, I'm convinced. So we just lost half our team. There's your drop-off. Yeah, but whose fault's that, though? Who's the one who decided, I don't want these players anymore? I know Richard Hughes plays a part in it, but Slot's the one who said, Jarrell Quansah, nah, don't need him. Luis Diaz, nah. Even though Diaz has been told, like he said, apparently he wanted to stay. We said no to him. So it's all well and good saying, get rid of Diaz, get rid of Quansah, get rid of Nunez, who everyone was clamoring to get rid of, by the way, which is a big factor, and then bring in Isak, Ekitike, Wirtz, all these players, lose Trent, now it's a transition period, but it's a somewhat forced one. And we did need to recruit. We did definitely need to bring in players, but maybe we didn't need to lose every single player that we sold. I think selling Quansah was a daft decision. If he wanted game time, fair enough, out of our hands. But we lost half our team because of his decision-making, and he brought in lots of players to try and replace them and add to it, and it's not worked so far. I think we should get Alonso whenever he's available and stick with him for at least 2 seasons, no matter the result. Alonso deserves the time, but Slot is a random who is not a true red. I'm not having that narrative at the end because I think Slot's justified the right to have time. But Alonso, the only reason we're saying Alonso is available is stick with him for 2 seasons, which I get. He's a long-term manager, and Madrid is very short-sighted at the moment not to see that. Slot has just won us the Premier League title. And that's not giving him enough credit in the bank for us to say, right, regardless of results, 2 seasons, he's sticking around. What more can he do? Is it like Alonso comes in, let's say Alonso comes in, has a difficult first season, a difficult second season. Are we still then saying, right, give him all the time he wants? He's a true red. He played for this club. Just because you played for the club doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a great manager for that club. Frank Lampard at Chelsea is probably the most recent example of that. Slot has won us the Premier League title. If that doesn't buy you enough time amongst the fan base to have the season afterwards, then I don't know what will. The same would be applied to Alonso. If we won the league under his first season and had the same season we're having now, people would still be saying, right, we need to move on past it. It's not working. So, but yeah, let's touch on Brighton. Let's touch on the match that we've got today because, of course, Brighton and Hove Albion, 8th in the Premier League. Liverpool are 10th. And there's a lot of sort of different things to touch on. Yesterday, we touched briefly on Danny Welbeck, who I'm going to talk about again today. But we're going to just look at the stats. We're going to see where Brighton sort of rank at the moment in the Premier League with regards to everything. Because they're a team who, they're pretty mid-table for a lot of things. 51.5 possession is their average amongst the Premier League. Liverpool are still top of that on 61.1. We're actually the only side to be in the top 60% of the possession margin. But the difference is Brighton are so dangerous on the counter-attacks and transitions because they rank here. They are currently 6th for goals scored, 24 goals scored, level with Tottenham, level with Manchester United. They've actually scored 1 more goal than Liverpool this season. Like, they're a very dangerous team going forward. And a lot of that does stem from the players that they have. Just a quick thing. I get your point about Slot winning the league, but I don't feel like it was Slot. It was Klopp with a couple of Slot tweaks this season. It's Slot season, and it's a mess. I understand that. I agree with that completely. And I've said that myself. So I think you're right in that regard. It's a fair point. But yeah, let's go on to the Brighton. Go on to the Brighton squad, Brighton Hove Albion, Premier League. And then, as I say, these are the players that they have got. The goals and assist margin at the top. Danny Welbeck ranks the top. Excuse me, Danny Welbeck, top of the Brighton squad in the Premier League with 7 goals, 0 assists, despite the fact that he's in the top 10% of Premier League strikers and attackers for progressive passes, switches of play, and passes into the final third. He comes deep, Danny Welbeck, but he's just so good at coming deep, passing it off, and then putting himself in the right position to receive the ball back from these wingers. That's why Yankuba Minter is on 4 assists this season, which is the top of the Brighton squad. And he also puts out some of the best attacking numbers, Minter. And he's one of those people who, For Liverpool, he's a winger that notoriously this season we have struggled with. It's not been necessarily the people who go out and just put in great goals and assists for Liverpool that have been the main undoing of us. It's those style of wingers that will run at us and cause a nightmare. And Minter this season has operated predominantly on the left, but he can work out on the right as well. I've got that the other way around. He starts out on the right, he can play on the left. And against a Liverpool left back, who is that going to be? Who is our left back going to be? Is it going to be Robbo? Is it going to be Kerkez? Because if it's Robertson, I think he's going to struggle massively against Minter, like we saw last season with Madueke, like we've seen against Doku in the past, like we've seen against Saka. He struggles against this style of winger, someone who will just run at you and can put you on your arse in a moment's notice. And Yakuba Minte, progressive carries, top 19% of Premier League wingers on 4.67. Successful take-ons. This is the key one. Top 8% in the Premier League. He will beat Robertson, I think, if he starts. And for me, I think that might be why Kerkez needs the game today. Add to that, obviously, the Robbo started the Inter match. And I think he played the full game, didn't he? He's a lot more defensively sound, Robertson, but when he's playing against this caliber of winger, this style of winger, this aggressive, tenacious, he'll run at you, he'll try and take you on, he'll beat you. Is he going to be able to handle that? But then again, no, Kerkez can't really handle that. So as long as Brighton, if we are able to operate in the way of which we have in the past few matches, particularly the Inter Milan match, of the back line drops in rather than pushes up when the opposition's on attack and transitions, then I think Robbo starts. If we're playing a lot more aggressive, if we're playing more high up the pitch, fullbacks are going forward, I think you need Kerkez starting. So let's see if I can get my tactics board up. Right then. Let me just get this. England. And then we're going to go to Premier League, and then we're going to go to Liverpool. There we go. And then I'll share this up actually, just so it's easier to, and then we'll come back to the Brighton squad. Who starts? I'm using JLA Tactics board as well, by the way. It's great. I'm going to start using it for my channel. So let's say on our bench, let's say Kerkez, that I will change these. Salah's going to be there, of course. Conor Bradley, Federico Chiesa. Jeremy Frimpong is still injured, so he will not be there. And Engamoa. Need one more. Who else is making the bench? Who's there? Say Nioni. Because Endo may be in the squad, but there's no guarantee at the moment. So, yeah, who's coming in? So Alisson obviously is going to start the match. That's just a fact of life. He's going to start this game, and rightfully so. No disrespect to Mamardashvili, and that's why the bench is so odd, because Mamardashvili is not on it. Robertson, does he start? I think he doesn't. I don't think he does. I think it's Kerkez. I do think Milos Kerkez will start, because if you're playing that more sort of compact drop back shape. Someone said, isn't Isak injured? He is. He's just, this is the pre-built squad. It goes based off of the Inter Milan squad. I think if you want to play the more aggressive style with Kerkez potentially running up this margin of the pitch, you're going to need Jones to drop in at left back, and Kerkez is going to have all that space up there to operate with. Let's just put Verts on the pitch as well, because I feel like he's going to start. And in that instance, Jones is going to have to drop back, and we lose a lot in this area of the pitch in midfield, which, wouldn't be great. But the way that we've been playing recently, with everyone dropping back into a sort of defensive shape, like we saw against Inter Milan, I think that's more Robertson suited. And I don't see him venturing beyond this part of the pitch. I think he'll have to stick back here. Diaz and Canate are probably going to start. There's no other option. Does Gomez start again? I don't think so. I do think he needs his minutes managed a bit. So for me personally, I'd be putting Bradley in. It's no disrespect to Gomez as well. I think with Brighton, who are so open and expansive at the moment in the defensive third, the way they work, the game against Villa, they were so vulnerable on the wings. There's going to be lots of space up in this area to work with, which is going to play a big part into why I think Bradley's picked. Because no disrespect to Joe Gomez, he's a great defensive-minded player. And like I said, if we're playing that sort of low block, drop back kind of style, that suits Gomez a lot more. He's a lot more effective in that role. He's not your fullback who's going to bomb forward and try and put balls into the final third. He's just not. He will stay back and defend in a la Steve Finnan. But Conor Bradley is a lot more aggressive. Against Inter Milan, we saw those inverted runs that he was making. He was making space for others around him. Bradley is suspended. Is he suspended? Is Bradley suspended? I thought he'd already served the suspension. Never mind. Bradley is suspended. Why did I think he wasn't suspended? Why did I think he'd already done the suspension? Never mind then. Well, Bradley ain't going to be in the squad then, so it's going to be Joe Gomez. Why did I think he'd already served the suspension? Mental. I've had a moment there. So to Double Ellie and 29, thank you very much, because you just saved me from looking like an idiot. But yeah, I just think Bradley would have been perfect if the option was there. But yeah, okay, so Gomez is going to start then, because Frimpong's not quite back from injury from what we understand. He's getting closer, but yeah. Who starts in midfield? Gravenberch, of course. I think the midfield, the issue you've got, so in the last game, obviously, we had this diamond formation going on, this diamond style, in the middle of the pitch, which was really, really effective for us. McAllister, Jones, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, they were able to rotate around one another. Gravenberch predominantly sort of stayed in this area around here. He was the defensive-minded asset. Jones and Robertson would rotate around this side. Szoboszlai would go out into the right wing when he absolutely needed to, but through the middle. And Alexis McAllister was just in a free role, to be honest. But I don't think Alexis McAllister is going to start this match. I think it will be Florian Wirtz. And then on the left wing, potentially, I think Chiesa. I don't think Salah starts, personally. I don't see a world really where that happens. So let's see. So Chiesa on the right wing, Wirtz potentially starts on the left. And then what you get is, because the big thing at the moment that's so massive for Liverpool has been that rotation in midfield. Wirtz at the moment has predominantly been used as left winger a lot this season. When he's played at number 10, he's drifted out wide. He goes in this formation, and let's say you've got Robertson who's venturing forward into the half spaces to try and find someone, trying to progress play up left wing. Wirtz comes inside. Jones drops back. And then you end up with that 4-2-4 formation, which has been so effective at points for other teams. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's just an option that you do have. Let's say put Jones there, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Robbo. I think Jones is undroppable at the moment. Absolutely. You can't drop Jones from this Liverpool team. What he brings, he's our best passer. His passing numbers are the best in the Liverpool squad currently, which is huge. You've also got then Dominic Szoboszlai's energy. His goal against Leeds, phenomenal. He's been our best player this season. We finally have a number 8 who's worthy of wearing that shirt. So yeah, for me, I think this is the front three that you go, the middle three that you go with. Because we will, I think, operate in a sort of 4-3-3, only because there's no Isak. There is no Alexander Isak currently in the squad. He's, he might be on the bench, but he's not going to start due to the knock, another knock, which he's got. That's like his 8th, by the way. So I think this will be the midfield three. You can have Wirtz drop in. You can have him operate there if you're going to have Robertson venture forward. There's a lot of different options there. And yeah, I think it's time Chiesa gets the minutes on the right wing. I don't think Salah's going to start. I think he'll come off the bench, and he will get his round of applause as he comes on, be welcomed back, which would be brilliant. Bear with me. There we go. Yeah, but that's who I think we will be starting today. Alisson, I think Robertson will get the nod. Fine. Robertson, Van Dijk, Canate, Gomez, Gravenberch, Jones, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Ekitike, Chiesa, hopefully. I'm hoping that he gets minutes. The Brighton team, the way they're so open at the moment, it feels as though he would be suited to get the best out of that match. He's got space to work with him behind. Now, touching on the Brighton squad, the actual players, the individuals they've got in that team. Minte, as I said, he's one of the best players for them. He's also putting out terrific defensive numbers, 2.39 tackles per 90 minutes. He's willing to track back. Let me just get his Premier League stats up for you right now. There we go. 25-26 Premier League season. 1 goal, 4 assists in the league this season. His shooting stats are poor. I believe he has the lowest shot on target percentage of any Brighton player in the squad, bar one, who I think is Jack Hinchelwood. He's the only one with the lowest shot on target percentage, but it's not about that. It's his key passes, 1.9 per 90 minutes, top 15% of Premier League wingers. Crosses into the penalty area, top 22% of Premier League wingers. You're moving on lower down. His crosses, 4.93 per 90, the top 13%. Shot creating actions completed after he takes on players, because he puts out terrific numbers in that regard. His defensive work, tackles in the attacking third, 0.42. He's a workhorse up and down whatever flank he's on, and he may try and pull players out of position. Take-ons attempted, successful take-on percentage, top 14% in the league. Progressive carries, top 8%. Carries into the penalty area, 3.31. He's the player, he's the danger man on the wing that Liverpool really, really need to look to, because as much as Danny Welbeck is a terrific player, as much as Danny Welbeck's been a terrific player for Brighton, and the numbers he puts out in a passing sense are brilliant, Minter is the key man on that wing who we absolutely need to watch out for, because he can cause havoc. If he plays on the right against Kirkaz or Robbo, they need to make sure they don't get pulled out by him, because that's what he's great at doing, and then working it in behind them. If he operates on the other wing and he's playing against Gomez, Gomez is going to need support, probably by Jones or Gravenberch, because as good as Gomez is defensively, he's not great against that style of player. He can get twisted around a bit. He's very rigid as a defender, Joe Gomez. He's just a brick in the back, which is fine. But I think he might struggle against this caliber on the turns, trying to keep up with him. And we've got to watch out for that. Don't like to see Salah in the squad. Looks like player power to me. This is a week after his outburst. It's not right. By all accounts, everything's been sorted. Everything has been done and dusted. So if there's a compromise has been reached, and I will get it up on the Anfield Index Twitter page again, by the way. So make sure you go follow Anfield Index over on Twitter, because no one does better work than them. Let's be completely honest. And they've got me here, which is always nice. So let me just see if I can get David Lewis Steele's tweet up. Here it is here. So let me just... Right, just really quick as well. Bear with me. We don't need it. No one needs to be giving each other a stick in the comment. Just leave it. We're here to talk about Liverpool. We're here to talk about Brighton. None of the aggressive stuff. It's pointless. Just pack it, or the comments are just going to get deleted and everyone's just going to get banned. So move on from there. But yeah, Lewis Steele. Believe talks to Mohamed Salah and Arsenal today were positive. They've shaken hands, and the forward is expected to be in the squad to play Brighton on Saturday. Conflict not fully resolved, but it's a good step. So that's why Salah's in the squad, to the comments. Let me just... There we go. All Salah did was have a moan. Not like people don't moan, is it? It's full of moaners. And yeah, not sorted. Lewis was a truce, apparently. That is far from sorted. Yeah, no, I'm agreeing. Look, even Lewis Steele says it's not been completely resolved. It's just a step in the right direction. It's a temporary truce. It's a laying down of the arms for a good week. Salah's going away, and I think the last thing the club needs, and Slot needs, and he needs, is this overriding narrative for the next few weeks of, is Salah going to go? Is Salah going to stay? And then every press conference, Slot's going to say, look, he's not here. I don't know what he's doing. Nothing has changed. Stop asking me. I think the club just want it to be done, dusted for the next few weeks and resolve things behind the scenes. He's probably been chastised for the fact that he came out publicly in the way he did, which is fine. He's fine to address his grievances in the public. If he wants to air his dirty laundry, that's fine. It should have been done behind the scenes, though. And maybe it was attempted to, and maybe that's why he's tried to do this. But this is the right way now. They've sat down, discussed it, talked about it. It's a temporary truce for the Brighton match. Get it out the way. If it is his farewell at Anfield, then give him the send-off that he deserves. Give him... Because as much as this has been a difficult week for Salah, for us, for everyone who's been involved, he still deserves the right send-off that other legends of the club and brilliant players at the time never got. And Fowler got lucky. Fowler left in 2001. He came back. got his farewell in that match against Charlton, got to say goodbye. He got the moment that he'd been waiting for, and he said to himself, other big players for this club never got that. McManaman never got that because he went to Madrid. Owen never got it because he went to Madrid. Torres, Suarez, Coutinho, all these big players, world-class talents. Even Mane, Sadio Mane, never got his farewell. And I know not everyone does. Not every player gets farewell. It's not something that's definitely needed. But I think he deserves it. And I think that this is just his match to give him the opportunity to say goodbye. And then Liverpool will see what the options are over the January window. If not, he will be leaving next summer. I do not see a world now where Salah is here beyond this season, so we need to enjoy him while we can. I know he's struggling at the moment in terms of goals and assists. Who's to say today that he isn't going to come out and score? Because that's what he does, even when he's having bad matches. I know he hasn't been recently, but there's almost a decade worth of evidence to suggest that even when Salah's off form, he still contributes to this team. The numbers say it all, and that's what the best players do. So we'll see how he gets on today. He was going to leave regardless. Maybe this has brought it forward. Possibly this could be the thing that's really pushed the club into overdrive and said, right, we need to look into the market. Maybe that's why they've went out and signed all the players that they did in the summer. So we just don't know. As in the squad, let's give him a good send-off and hopefully sell him in January, get as much for him as we can and get some defenders in. I agree bringing in defenders, but the problem is I just don't think Liverpool are going to sell Salah in January if they can help it, because you're then in a panic and a rush to try and bring in people. People that Liverpool have made a lineage over the past decade of being proactive, not reactive. So there will be players there ready for them to come in should Salah go. And that is what we do best. But I don't think we're going to sell Salah. A, because it's going to cost us a fortune to replace him on the right wing for anyone half decent. Excuse me. And we're not going to... I'm trying to think of the way to phrase it. It's going to cost us loads to replace him on the right wing, but I just don't think Liverpool at the moment can afford to lose one of their star players, because morale right now is incredibly low. Incredibly low. Everyone knows that. You sell Salah, who, as much as he did what he did, and it's wrong, and he's not been great this season, you lose him, that's a big character in the dressing room. Virgil van Dijk has only ever known Liverpool with Mohamed Salah in the squad. Andrew Robertson has only ever known Liverpool with Mohamed Salah in the squad. So many of these players, every single one of these players, in fact, has only known Liverpool without Mohamed Salah in the squad, bar Joe Gomez. Everyone else, he's been there. He's the star man. He's the head of the table, so to speak. It's his domain. Him not being there is only going to lower morale at a time where we can't buy confidence. So we need him then in and around the squad. And then if he's going to go in summer, that's fine. But I don't see Liverpool selling in January and uprooting what has already been a disastrous season. Not when we have top four to go forward, not when there's still the FA Cup, the Champions League. It would be stupid to sell him now, personally. Semenyo started well, but not done too much lately. He has dipped off. That is true. Disagree. Mo, I believe, will be gone by January. Mo hasn't been great on the right wing, so will be a step up. Mo doesn't want bad press or be on the bench. Mo is not the future. Mo is not the future, but Mo, he's certainly the past. He's certainly, in a sense, the now. Like in terms of last season, he was sensational. Best individual Premier League season ever statistically. What I mean is, he could be gone by January, but I just don't think the club are going to be that rushed or pressured to do it. And we're going to end up in a situation where maybe Mo wants to go and the club are saying, you've got a contract, deal with it. We'll sell you when we're getting the right money for you. And that's what I mean. Liverpool have made a history of doing that. We sell on our terms. If players want to go, great, but we will still sell on our terms. We will bring in the money that we're expecting to get for you. We will not be pressured into doing so. If you're not happy and you don't want to play, you're not happy and you don't want to play, you can sit there. Wait until someone comes in with an offer that we deem acceptable, and then you will be sold on. So, we held out with Nunez, Diaz we held out for. We hold out for a lot of players to get the value that we want. And if Mo gets an offer from Saudi, say, for example, in January, and it's a lot of money, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just don't think the club are going to risk doing that straight away. But Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Mo will start today? Do you think he'll be on the bench? What do you think his future is for Liverpool? And what are your score predictions for the Brighton and Hove RB match today? I think 3-2, personally. I think it's going to be end-to-end. Brighton are very open at the back. We're very open at the back. If we play the compact style, maybe we'll keep a clean sheet, which would be brilliant, but we'll probably score 1 goal. I think it's going to be a bit more end-to-end. I think Slot's going to allow players a bit more flexibility in attack to try and spread their wings, so to speak. But let's see. Make sure to click like and subscribe. Make sure you head over to the Substack at www.itwasalwaysliverpool.com. There's amazing content over there all the time. Click subscribe here to Anfield Index. We're over 17,700 of you, which is mental. I will be back at some point in the future. I've done my duty covering Dave for this weekend. He's at the Brighton match today, so he will be back very, very soon. Do not worry. You won't see this ugly mush again for a little bit anyway. But yeah, thank you guys so much for getting involved in the comments, getting involved in everything. And we will see you very soon.